Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about current lightweight champion of the UFC and his recent comments regarding a possible matchup against Michael Chandler. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel. Your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. Yesterday, I made a video talking about Dustin Poirier's statement, July 1st, I believe it was a tweet, and Dustin Poirier kind of hinted towards him being ready to be a replacement fighter in case Arman Tsarukyan cannot make his fight against Islam Makhachev. Immediately, that was dismissed by the current lightweight champion. If I'm not mistaken, the response from Islam was, quote-unquote, no thanks. And if you were to look at the first fight, or the fight between the two, I'm talking about Dustin Poirier and Islam here, you would see that it wasn't much of a competitive fight. In all honesty, I thought that Dustin was going to do much better than what he actually did against Islam. It takes nothing away from the Diamond Poirier, obviously. I've said it many times before. We're talking about the ranked pound-for-pound greatest on the planet. Currently, I do understand, we're not talking about GOATs, we're talking about the pound-for-pound ranking. Islam Makhachev is number one, and I do understand many people are going to bring up John Jones and, all that good stuff. I'm not talking about the GOAT debate. I'm talking about pound for pound. If I'm not mistaken, you have to be an active fighter in order for you to actually get that title. And when we talk about Islam Makhachev, pound for pound best, at least according to the rankings. And obviously what I'm trying to say here is that this takes nothing away from Dustin Poirier, the fact that he lost to a guy like Islam Makhachev. That being said, obviously there was some news circulating after the cancellation of UFC 303's main event between Chandler and McGregor, and allegedly the UFC offered Chandler the opportunity to fight for a title against Islam Makhachev in October, if I'm not mistaken, allegedly. And that also has been dismissed recently by the champion of the current champion of the lightweight division, Islam Makhachev. Islam is simply not interested in fighting Chandler either. Some may say that this is a way of Islam Makhachev to dodge a tough fight against Chandler. Other people may say that Chandler doesn't even deserve a title shot. In all honesty, things in terms of matchmaking is not always perfect, and I believe that UFC 303 is a great example of that. And what I'm trying to say is that sometimes you have to put two guys together and make a fight happen, regardless of the ranking or the current form. Sometimes you have to fight replacement fighters, and most nights fights have to go on. At least cards have to go on. Like UFC 303, everything was crumbling around it, but somehow matchmakers were able to make the show happen, and I have nothing but respect for that. In all honesty, despite of the losses that Chandler suffered throughout the past 2 years, me personally, I still look at Chandler as one of the best, not only lightweights on the planet. I want to venture out and say that Chandler is one of the best athletes on the planet. The guy is sublime. I've said it many times before. I have a lot of respect for Chandler. And if I were to think of a great example of a mixed martial artist for the upcoming generation, has to be Chandler. Michael Chandler is a respectable character in and outside of the octagon. And I wouldn't have much of a problem if he was to face Islam Makhachev, even though the latter dismissed the idea altogether. I do understand that some people may look at records and question how can Chandler even be brought up in the same category or sentence as Islam Makhachev. And my response to that is that in the world of mixed martial arts, specifically the UFC, specifically the lightweight division, you find a division that's so deep and the margins are so small. truthfully speaking, it's the margins are so small, and to be able to differentiate the guys is a very difficult task. So I still look at Chandler as a top contender. I wouldn't have a problem seeing Chandler facing Islam Makhachev. Obviously, Islam is not interested in this fight. I wonder where Justin Gaethje sits in all of this, because I think he's just watching from the outside, scratching his chin, and wondering why isn't anybody bringing up his name. Unfortunately for Justin Gaethje, I thought that this was the guy that's going to give Islam the hardest time, and I still stand behind that statement despite Justin's loss to Max Holloway. Takes nothing away from the guy. If you made it this far, appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.